Alright, welcome back to the Newbie Nerd. Kicking it off here. Probably starting in on episode 8. Been busy, done a few things here. As mentioned in the last video, I was going to just keep kind of grinding and running those product and getting more things going. So as you can kind of see on this table right here, right, we've made it to the Cocaña. The cocaine dealer opened up. So started getting that, just been cycling through getting the seeds, planting the seeds. It's time for a pickup. One of my dealers went try, but yeah, the pickup will be here soon, or I might have to order some more seeds for the next batch. And we've just been having those plants going, drying, you know. They go in the cauldron, you add some gasoline, they go in the cauldron, and then they come out. Why won't it let me? Oh, because it's going. So, you know, these are about to finish up, so you'll see there. I created a couple different, I don't know what you would call it, they're not really strains because it's not a cannabis product, but two different types. Basically, I just kind of took the mix that I was using to get to the McLovin meth strain or whatever, and I just applied it to the cocaine one. And it makes this Death Rhino, and one short of the Death Rhino mix makes this Gorilla Diesel. Obviously, the Death Rhino sells for the most than the Gorilla Diesel, but I'm kind of just noticing, like, honestly, like, doing these mixes may or may not be necessary in the game. Honestly, if you have, so like if you have a higher quality, basically they just seem to buy it, like maybe they buy 1 or 2 off of you, and if they're like lower priced, maybe they get like 4 or 5 off of you. So you can probably just run the normally low cost, basic, not really time consumed mixing product, and they'll just kind of buy more. So you just have to make higher quantity versus quality, but you'll essentially accomplish kind of the same thing. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from how they sell, or when they're hitting you up, like almost like they're only going to always spend a certain amount. I don't know. I'm sure there's probably YouTube videos that explain that stuff, but again, I'm trying to not do any of that stuff. This is just me trying to do a straight up blind playthrough, just figuring things out, having fun with the game. But yeah, we got to the cocaine, as you can see here. You know, we put the coca leaves on the rack, leave them on there until they become the heavenly. Then we throw them into the cauldron, cook them up with the gasoline, and then when they're done with the gasoline, they come out, as you can see here. And then we just grab the outputs, and this is how you put them in. So you'll load it with the gasoline, and then, oh, and I found this out too. If you right click, right, because when we got these coca leaves, I was like, you know, clicking like I normally do with like moving things over, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to do, there's so many leaves, I'm just doing this one by one, like what is my life now? And just out of like randomness, I like right clicked and it grabbed the whole bunch. So this has probably been something that's been in the game the entire time, and I just didn't know because I never used it. So you probably could have been doing this like the whole time in the game, and I'm just now figuring it out like 40 hours later into the game. But like the tutorials and like things in the game never said anything about it. Like, who am I to just randomly hit right click on something? Also, my trash is kind of overflowing right here. I've just been a little lazy, you know. Just letting things build up. Anyways, you take it upstairs, get it into here. Obviously, you load it up. We get it out, and then here you go. Here's your cocaine balls, which, you know, okay, that's how it's gonna go. We can look at that right clicking. Oh man, it's game changer. I don't know if that's something that's new or if I'm just an idiot. I'm kind of rolling with I'm just an idiot because I never even attempted it before. I never even like thought of it being a thing. So I'm just assuming I'm dumb, and it was always that way, and I just didn't know. Either way, it definitely helps with grabbing the stuff a lot more conveniently versus one by one. Just putting this on the shelves. So yeah, you can kind of see. Also, my chemist, yeah, about that, somehow, I think, like, I glitched the game or something somehow by, I was coming up here, he was working, I guess he was just being a little slow for me, so I ran up here real quick because these were ready, and I opened one up, started doing the cooking for the cocaine process, and he just kind of like came into doing the same thing with me at the same time on the same piece of machine, like absorbing into me, and I got like kind of stuck, and I had to like wiggle my way out, and I did finally get out, but then he was just like randomly stuck staring here into nothingness forever, doing nothing, and I couldn't interact with the cooking machine or the oven, the lab oven he was in front of anymore, and like I was just like, what? So I was kind of just like, man, that's annoying. So instead of resetting the game like a logical person, I busted out my machete and I murdered him. Yeah, and then threw him in the trash can outside, out front in the barn. And yeah, I mean, and then I reset the game. And, you know, he's dead now. So I just figured he would come back, you know, like kill him and they'll just like restart and he'd be back, but no, yeah, he stayed dead. So yeah, I no longer have the chemist doing that work for me anymore. I murdered him, you know, but hey, no witnesses, so we'll be good on that end. But now I have to hire another one, which is going to be $1,000 hit up front, because I think it's $1,000 up front one time, and then, you know, they're $300 a day. But either way, I've just been kind of doing this on my own for now since murdering him. And then and learning from that, you know, hey, maybe just beat him up instead of murdering him, because they'll keep working and or come back if you just abuse them versus slaughtering them. So just, you know, fun fact. Anyway, so basically kind of now that we're caught up, right? That was just the things I was doing in the downtime. It was basically just getting out there, running product, and it was mainly the meth that I was moving. I sold all the meth. I just restocked this with some gasoline, but sold all of these holdings. I had probably about 60 of them or so of each, and I just was running that while trying to grow plants and create, you know, some cocaine supply. And then I made this one mix, so I did make 20 of each. And then I kind of I put them up for sale to see what they would sell for, and I did like one run. So the Death Rhino goes for you can get it to go for $850. They pay, I've seen them paying up to like $900 or $990 for one, but you can't price it that high. Again, it's really weird. Like the game, like if you know what they go for, if you price it right at that, they won't hit you up for it. But yet you lower the price, and this seemed to be the price where they like would immediately start like hitting me up. But then they'll pay like $900, you know, even though it's $729. So I think $850 is a pretty safe price to go with. And then for the Gorilla Diesel, you know, $650 seemed to work, but again, they pay as high as like in the 700s. But 567 was where that came in at. I priced it at 650. Seems to move pretty quickly at that price. But like I said, these are, I mean, it takes a minute to get to these strains, because again, this is the mix that I was using off of the same mix from the Aspen McLovin, which, you know, again, like if you from the other videos you'll see, you would have seen, but that recipe is basically you do a banana and then a cuke and then a paracetamol, however you say that, and then some gas and then cuke and then a battery and then semen, the horse semen, and then a bean, right? So it's like 8 or 9 times of mixing, right, to get the one product. And I mean, it's time consuming. So like I was thinking about, you know, I have the mixers, thinking about maybe getting a mixer and then trying to figure out how to have them mixing. But then at the same time, they, everyone who orders, maybe they get one, maybe they get two max, and then I'm doing 15, 16 orders running around, or like 10 or more orders running around where they're just getting like one each. Whereas if I spend way less time mixing and just making like massive batches of the product, maybe I'll sell the same amount of money in a night, but instead of doing like one each customer, maybe they're getting like 5 or 6 or 7 per customer, and it just comes out to the same amount of money made for the night, with less mixing, the rigorous mixing time consumption. Not exactly sure, but I think I'm going to give that a whirl. So in this video, I'm not really going to do any of the mixing. I'm just going to keep cycling through, getting more seeds, growing the coca leaves, and just drying them on the drying rack, getting them mixed in the cauldron, and then moving them to the cooker and selling them. Oh gosh, it might not be the best place for my shelf here, and then just selling them as is with no benefits, just to see how that goes. Like, I don't know if when you do it that way, people just hit you up less, if you get just like way less customer satisfaction, and it just takes a long time to get the satisfaction built up quicker, because like if it's not giving them the effects they want, does that create an issue with, like, if the quality is low, does that give you less satisfaction and create, like, takes more times for them to level up? And right now, really what I'm working on is just kind of getting to the next dealer. Everyone is pretty much unlocked, so at least where I'm at for now, like the docks, right? The Suburbia is not going to open up until I get to Block Boss. I don't even know what level that is. I think right now I'm like at a Enforcer 4 or 5. But right now, docks, everyone is unlocked, and docks, this guy was a pain, Javier, but I did get him unlocked. One of the strains I had, which was one of the wheat strains, I can't remember which one it was, but it worked for him, and he was able to take it, because again, he doesn't really have any effects. It's just like modern, and I'm always giving him like heavenly graded things, and he'd always just be like, no, not really for me. Geez, I mean, Javier was, I mean, he was a pain in the butt. It was always like 50-something% chance. I probably tried like 6 or 7 times, and then finally I just randomly grabbed one of my strains, and when I went to give it to him, it had like an 82% chance, which was like the highest chance ever, and it worked on that one. So, and he was the last contact I needed unlocked on this supply chain here. So as soon as we get, these, I think like this guy, I'm working on the supplier. That's going to go up in trust as you continue getting seeds, or the coca seeds. And then I need to get, this lady, this guy, this lady, Mac, this guy, and Javier. I think all of them kind of have to either be in the blue or green areas, and then it'll unlock the dealer. And then I can have the dealer start running things as well as me doing it, until we unlock the new region. And then I can concentrate on unlocking all these and whatever. But either way, that's the progress I've made trying to get this other dealer opened up. We're at about Enforcer 4 or 5 level. We'll see here in a minute when I sleep and pass the time. And I think I'm going to just start moving like basic product and just like higher numbers, just to see if that's how it works. Like if they'll just get higher quality, or higher quantity, and still make kind of the same amount of money. So this video is really just going to be me doing those things, running that. I think I'm going to go also grab the next property, and then I think we'll have all the properties. We'll get the warehouse. I'll think about a setup for the warehouse. I'm going to have to stack a little bit in cash. I mean, my cash isn't super low right now, right? I mean, I have about 170K or so, and I think the warehouse was 50K. We'll see in a second. I mean, I'll cut over to there when I do it, but it's probably going to be first order of business in the morning is grabbing that business, and then just running stuff like growing and running to get the cash back up, so I can get my dough back up, because then I'm going to start focusing on building out that warehouse, and then using that to learn how to maybe get a team going, right? Like once I have the warehouse, maybe I'm going to get people, maybe I'll do mixing, I don't know, but I think maybe I'm just going to concentrate on amping up chemists and getting people to actually just start growing. Maybe I'll get a botanist to do all the coca leaf stuff, because I think I'm really just probably going to shift to focusing on doing all cocaine. This stuff takes a while to grow, so I can maybe, have that running on kind of an autopilot with some botanists, and have them doing this area with the chemists, getting it collected, so I can just concentrate on doing all the dealing at night and running the product, getting the levels, getting the experience, and I'll probably have my dealers doing a little less, and we'll find an order to it, but that's going to pretty much be this video, right? So getting that new property, running the new product, and gauging if it makes sense to be spending a lot of time mixing to get quality, or just spending the time to get the more quantity in order to just be moving them and making some progress. But that's gonna be it. Let's go hit the sack, and then we'll jump into it and check out that new property. All right, Enforcer 5. So yeah, 50,000. All right, let's go ahead and scoop it up. All right, we now have all of the properties. We have all the properties, all the businesses, and yeah, there's still kind of places I haven't even seen or explored around here on this map. And there's this one spot, I don't remember exactly where it was, but it's like this dope looking house on a hill that I feel like should be a property we're able to unlock. Maybe that's like a update coming later in the game or something. I think it was over this way. I'm gonna find it. I'll skip to it here so you guys don't have to watch me run around like an idiot. But yeah, it's right here. So a little further past down, barns over that way, church come down right up here, right up this hill. It's like a little mansion. Look at this, dude. This place is sick looking on the outside. What? This is dope. This has to be... Dude, they need to make this a property you can get right here. Dang it. Freaking run across the thing. Like, why? Dude, like, this needs to be your mansion that you can get. It has to be. If I don't know, we'll figure it out, but maybe it is later in the game. It's not on the properties list. Maybe it's an update or a DLC they're looking to do. I don't know, but that's a pretty sweet looking house. All right, moving on. All right, so let's go check out our warehouse. Let's go check out our warehouse. And this should be it right here, right? This is the warehouse. Yeah, look at that. Dang, look at this space. Wait, does this open? Oh, snap. Okay, cool. So we get our vehicles in if we need to. Wait, can I not close this now? How do you... Okay, whatever. Oh, it automatically closes. Does it Oh, it automatically opened. It didn't open because I hit E. Alright, fair. Gosh, why is it so freaking trashy over here? I'm gonna have to clean this up because my pet peeves. Oh my gosh, like, it's really not that much bigger than the barn. Come on now, let's be honest. I mean, it's kind of the same amount of space as the barn. And then this is real small. Like, basically you can't do anything but beds in here for if you're gonna have like some crew. Of course, you got trash everywhere. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is pretty much the same amount of space as the barn. So yeah, I am probably definitely going to concentrate nothing but, probably this is going to be nothing but a cocaine warehouse. I might do like plants down this area here on both sides, like plants on both sides here, depending on how we can get them in. Maybe 2 rows of plants, right? And then maybe I'll have mixers. I don't know if I want to mix though, because I might just be doing regular. So maybe we have some of the cooking tables and stuff back here, the ovens and cauldrons. Maybe a couple cauldrons in the middle. I'm probably not going to deck this place out with too many shelves. I might need a handful of shelves just to carry soil and other things for the growing process and odds and ends. But again, I don't think I'm going to do a bunch of mixing with the cocaine stuff. I'm just going to run general product and just at higher volume, see how that goes. But yeah, I think that's probably when I'm concentrated on this whenever that goes down. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm probably going to do a lot of this grinding and hustling, setting this stuff up off camera, and then like once I've done it, I'll come in here and review with everything that was set up and have a little tour. Because yeah, in the meantime, I'm just going to work on unlocking the next dealer. So I just got to be moving some stuff for these people at night and doing that until we get that dealer. So that's pretty much what I'm going to concentrate on right now. That'll kind of help get the money back up and going. And that's, going to be this video. So we're gonna jump back to it here. Now that we got everything, let's jump back to it. All right, so time for a quick update for everyone here. Definitely been, we went off, took care of a whole bunch of things there off camera. Lots of hustling. Getting things done. As you can see, I'm now rocking a chain and a watch. I did go for the silver, not the gold, although I could technically get the gold ones. I just kind of like the platinum or, white gold type color versus like traditional gold. Anyways, that's why I went with that one, because obviously I'm a baller and I can get it. But we're gonna just a quick update of what has kind of gone down. Like I said, been a bit busy here, but this is where we're at now with the warehouse. Remember I said I was going to get this set up off camera and things, so this is kind of what we got going here. This is the crew. Everybody say hello. Yes, hello. This is our trash man, our cleaner, Ronald. How are you, Ronald? Are you doing okay today? All right. And this is Helen. I'm sorry, Ellen. Helen or Ellen. I'm going with Helen. This, we can trade items. This is apparently kind of new, but this was on here. It appeared. I don't know. Probably an update. And then you can ask, why aren't you working? And service required. I'm sure everyone, I didn't really review any of that kind of stuff in my videos at all, but whatever. Anyone who watches is probably watching more informational videos to learn from. But either way, that's my packer, Ronald. This is one of my botanists, Matthew. Helen the chemist, and Ronald the trash man. We have another, there they are. So these are my other botanists. We got botanist John and what's your name there, buddy? Daniel. Yeah. Anyway, that's the crew. As you can see, the warehouse has been quite renovated here. So walking through, we got the cocoa plants here on the edges. Both sides, as well as kind of a few in the middle. I have the botanist handling all of that, to include putting them on the rack, and then from the rack going to the cauldrons where the chemist will come in, and he'll keep that going there to make the cocaine products, which he'll put on the shelf, and when necessary the packer will load it onto the packing machine, and then he will come up here and place it on this shelf. And I also have him just, once this is full, I kind of just have him move the raw cocaine to this shelf to fill it. And then after doing that, I stick it into the press. By the way, figured out what the press does. It compacts things, and then you can give this to the dealer, and they don't have to break you don't have to make separate baggies or put them in jars or baggies or separate them or anything, other than for like when you're moving things yourself. You just give these to the dealer and they'll break it up. They'll break it up themselves. Like you just give them a whole bunch of bricks and then they have just like a ton of product on them. Which brings me to the next update, which is we got obviously I got the next dealer, which was the lady in the little mobile home. Jane. So Jane's right here. Looks like they're actually getting kind of dry right now, but Benji still has some. But either way, I do need to collect it. Either way, like I got that dealer, right? So now we're working on, unlocking the next areas, which is gonna be suburbia. I got suburbia and up, down, left. So, that's the update. Basically, I've just been doing a lot of this stuff off camera, getting things grown, moving them at night like I was previously doing, just kind of continuing on with this. But this is where I'm at with the warehouse and, how I'm going to work this. Again, this game does get repetitive for me as well, and, I don't have tons of time to continue to play the game as well as like do the editing. Obviously, this like isn't my job or what I do, so this is just a hobby spare time stuff. But either way, I'm having fun with the game for sure, but it does get a little tedious and repetitive. If I'm being completely honest, it does get a bit repetitive. But I'm basically gonna just, from the remaining videos, I think I'm gonna like stick it to like 10 videos. And this is number 8, so this is the conclusion of number 8. So number 9, episode 9, is going to be for, essentially just unlocking the new area. And then number 10 will be probably the last area, as well as, and I might chop these up in a certain way, but basically it's just going to be, I'm going to call my playthrough essentially done after, having all the properties, all the supplies, all the dealers, all the unlocks, all the towns, all the customers, and 1 million in net worth. And that's when I'm going to call the game. And I'm going to basically just turn that into 2 more episodes. And I'm going to be, I'm going to move on. And I think I might actually maybe do an 11th episode. Hop into the multiplayer. I know there's kind of a multiplayer, and do some of the silly stuff or whatever. Maybe I'll check out, after finishing my own playthrough, I'll check out, some other YouTube videos and figure out some tips and tricks, and go just mess around and have some fun and do all like the really fun stuff you can do in this game, like just randomly punching people and causing chaos and interacting with the cops, shooting people. Like there's all kinds of things you can do that I just haven't done. I haven't really been messing around with in the game because I've just been trying to like do playthrough and not do too many like off the cuff things. But hey, maybe I'll make an 11th video specifically for that and just have like some fun and do that stuff just to, see what it's like. And I'm sure that'll be entertaining, and I can maybe find a bro or somebody to like hop in multiplayer and just kind of go at it with me and have some fun with it. But yeah, that's really gonna probably be how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna call this series or playthrough series at episode 10. Anyways, that's gonna be it for me. Till next time.